All right, so someone asked me, so is my target 2,200? So, I mean, it was really suggestive when it came to the weekly market structure break right here, 2,200. And I mean, it's been tapped already. So the idea is that we could purge through this and it's less safe per se. The next naked weekly breaker is 1,705. So, like, if you were to do it on just straight up naked weekly breakers, it would be the target would be the top of this. It would be 1705, and I think I got the line set up correctly. Let me double check. I don't know if I can reset that. Control Z. There we go. It's gone. And I think it really is 1705. Yeah, it's 1705. So that's the naked weekly pivot, or the naked weekly breaker is 1705. So you could do the, so there's like four choices here. Let's see. Just because predicting the blow is so hard. And then for ES, it's 1705. So, I mean, it really depends on how much effort you want to put in this. You could just have a buy limit at 1705, and or you could do more of a methodical trend change method, which is you could do a market structure break to the upside, and if you wanted to be really sure, you could do a weekly. You know, the weekly is a really good deal. So once we get near the lows, you look for a weekly market structure break, and that's where you make your entry. And then you're really for sure the bottom is in. So that's kind of like the most delayed kind of confirmation. And I recommend using Nephew Sam's indicator for change of character and sinus. Was it market structure break? I think it's change of character and what's it called? And break of structure, BOS, from Nephew Sam. So, yeah, the naked breaker is naked weekly breaker is definitely a strategy to do, and especially if you're able to be patient, that would be the main target. So, creme of the creme, the best case scenario is you get 1705. Now, if you wanted to be lazy, you could do equal lows. Equal lows is very easy. Based on the naked pivots here, on the weekly naked pivot, it's just straight up this naked pivot here. I mean, for the most part, when this was a naked pivot here, it tagged it really nicely. Here, that tagged that. Let's see what other weekly naked pivots. I mean, whenever this was a naked pivot here, it tagged it. It went underneath it a little bit, but for the most part, it didn't do too bad. So for if you wanted to do the same thing, like an equal low kind of deal, you could do it based on this level here. So this is another one that you could do for an entry, is 2,220. And that's just like if you wanted to just not think about it and just get a good deal. And your reward for being so patient is just knowing that you got near like the lowest you could go for this range. So, I mean, if the range was contained in this area, and no one can know for certain, we just have targets, right? Targets are just, they're not certainties, they're just a goal to reach, right? So that's one way to do it. So 2,220. So that's equal lows. And then market structure break is more of a confirmatory thing, and you could do that last. So you could wait, or you could do equal lows last. So you could see if it keeps going lower, and if there's a rejection at the weekly market structure break, And if there's rejection, then we could reach for the naked weekly breaker, and on the way up, you could go for the equal low, and you could split up your position. So that's another way to go about it. If you really wanted to be lazy, whenever we reach the zone of 2,200, you could just go for the down weekly close and then 2/3 for the down quarterly close. So then you're for sure have the bottom. And down weekly close and down quarterly close is a decent strategy. If we took the Kova Nuke low, for example, the down quarterly close, for the most part, you got the lower third of the range between the Kova Nuke candle. So if we put a range on the Kova Nuke candle, and from where it closed, you got a really good position. You basically got 0.618, right below the 0.618. You got roughly 1/3 of the way down of the low. So I think that's pretty good. So there's no real right answer here. There's just multiple strategies, and you can ladder in. You could split up your position into 1/3, so you can have 3 entries. You can split it up to 1/3, 2/3. So there's 2 entries. But depending on how you want to go about it and how sophisticated you want to be. But for the most part, these are the target is around 2,220 for the equal low. Basically, that's where the naked pivot is. So equal low is basically the naked pivot. And then on the weekly from Oasis Trading Suite, you could just wait for a weekly market structure break, or you can target the naked weekly breaker, which happens to be 1,705. So that's basically the idea, and the optimal strategy would be a combination of the 2 highlighted ones. And instead of doing H4, you just wait for the weekly, and then you just go all in. So the idea is you're waiting for the naked weekly breaker, and if you get that's your grand prize. And then if you get the weekly market structure break, that's instead of the naked weekly breaker, then that's the next best thing, right? You would have done not so bad. And then if you really didn't want to worry about it, you would just do it by a schedule: down weekly close, down quarterly close. You hear the market crashing, you set an alert for that pivot or that low on the week, on the close, down weekly close right there on the ES, and then you set an alert once we cross down it, and then you wait for the close of the week. How does the weekly close look like? Okay, put in 1/3, and then you wait for based on a schedule, so you're diversifying your funds over time. You wait for that down quarterly close, and then you put the 2/3 in. So I would say that's the second best one to do, just because you diversified your funds over time. So if I were to just rank, this one's second best, and then this is first best, but it's more technical. It's more the yellow. Let me just make a key instead. Yellow equals best, and then green is second best. And that's kind of just, if I were to break it down from the options, that's what I would do. And of course, again, finding the bottom is super difficult. And a disclaimer is that depending on the market structure and how it looks, we can always head towards these down quarterly pivots. These down quarterly pivots that are naked and untouched down here are totally on the table if the market structure breaks or looks terrible. For the most part, I would be more threatened if we had a swing failure pattern up here first before targeting these pivots here. So if we come to the Kova Nuke low here, I'm not worried about these naked pivots right away. I'm kind of curious to see 1705. So that's roughly right here. 1705. Let me just double check. Yeah, 1705. So this quarterly pivot could come in handy for that retest. But for the most part, I don't know. It's a little uncertain. If I don't know. Like reaching down here seems kind of crazy if it did. And to me, it'd be mostly a short-term pump to get rejected here to go down. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to just figure out how this works. But it does seem like strong support down here around 15, it says 1705 and 16. But for the most part, I expect just the range to hold until there's a crazy deviation up here, and then these are the targets down here. And the range, we're shooting for a bigger range. But that's it. Thanks for watching.